3 persons behind you. You will just get down from your table and know that the game is up. So on that day, I stood, and then my opponent stood, and before you know it, the line moved. And they started counting and counting. Before they could even get to the middle of my line, my opponent just got down and said, "There's no need. They should stop counting." And that was my first test of grassroots politics. As a ward chairman, it was tasking. When we talk about politics, people think that politics is just this thing you do at the state level and the rest of it. It's those who are on the ground that really do the major work. It's the ward chairman of political parties, those who are at that level, that really task themselves to see that their parties win. Most players you see at the state level, at national level, they are just more of coordinating things. But it's those at that ground, because I saw it. You have to be sure of those who are going to be agents of the party. You have to mobilize your community to support your party. Then we nominated some persons for patrons and patronesses, and we're doing this kind of carol thing to source for money. We go house to house to mobilize funds for our party. So that's the little, the training grounds. From being a ward chairman to being local government party chairman to being a state chairman. So one has been involved, in party management and organization for quite some time, and it's been a very worthwhile experience, because as I'm running today for deputy governorship, for the deputy governorship office, so many things I did as chairman of a party, and I felt these things people are not appreciating it. Today people are saying, Mbisi is in this race. No, we need to pay him back. He's been a good man. He's supported us. He's never asked for money from any one of us. Rather, he puts in his resources for us. So I think the experience has been worthwhile. You grew through the ranks, from being the ward chairman down to the local government chairman of the party, down to state chairman. You became popular when you became PDP state chairman, Anambra State. And that was when PDP was truly PDP. And you led the party through different elections, both the senatorial, a lot of governorship elections and all that. What was the experience like? And you have to tell us why you left PDP, why you resigned from PDP. Well, when I became the chairman, but before being the chairman of the PDP, in fact, I'm a founding member of the APGA. You're one of the founding members of APGA in Anambra State. And I was the first deputy state chairman of APGA in Anambra State. First deputy state chairman of APGA. Founding state deputy chairman of APGA in Anambra State. Thereafter, I've been the state chairman of Action Congress. When some of us were deregistered from the PDP. By fiat, we founded the Action Congress, and I was the first elected state chairman of Action Congress when we supported Ngige to come back. Thereafter, I became the chairman of PDP Anambra State, and like you said, it's for me. Once you approach politics with great deal of integrity and honesty, you find out that you have less challenges with people. People would not be having issues because they know you. They know you're a straight person. So those who want to run an election, and they truly want to run an election, would know that what you will ask them is to go to their constituents and make sure that their constituents accept their aspiration. If for me, as a chairman of a party, and you're running for maybe councillorship, or you're running for House of Assembly, coming around to the state office is a waste of your time. I want to give you when I ran for local government chairmanship of Okasa local government under the PDP, when we founded the PDP, I didn't know who was the state chairman. I just heard his name. That one of you is the state chairman of the party. And when I saw him, he was a very great colossus. But I never went to see him. I was in my grand game in Okasa local government, and on the day of the primaries, people said, they've sent people to come and make sure that you don't win. I said, well, let's see what happens. And on the ground, I won 19 wards out of 20 wards in the primaries. 19 wards? Out of 20 wards in the primaries. And they had no alternative than to declare the result.
And they couldn't have rigged it.
No, you can't rig it. And the man said to me, the chairman said to me, but how come? Who are you? I never seen you. You never come to see me. And you're going for an election. I hope you will have to now ask for my support, because without my support, I said, Oga, I would not even ask you to come to Awka South to campaign for me, because you're not from Awka South. He said, what? He said, okay, let's see how it goes. On the day of the election, before he knew it, my result was being announced, and I won 20 wards out of 20 in Awka South local government. Because when the people support you, when people are running an election and they are looking for kingmakers, they are looking for godfathers, looking for government apparatus and the rest of them, I wonder, do they really want to have the mandate of the people, or they want the mandate of some individuals? You know, if you have the mandate of the people, then you'll be forced to serve the people. And because people supported me while I ran for chairman of the council, I had no alternative than to deliver when I became the chairman of the council. You know, so but if it were one godfather that hoisted me as the chairman of the local government, I'll be answerable to the godfather. In my politics, I want to be answerable to the people,
not to the godfathers, not to the kingmakers,
not at all, to the people.
I want to ask you now, because you've shared your experience, your political experience. What really motivated you to join the 2025 Anambra governorship race as the deputy governorship candidate of ADC, African Democratic Congress? I want to find out, because you've shared your experience, you've got so many experience, you've been in different political parties, from ABGA down to ADC, from ADC to PDP, from a PDP back to ADC. I don't know if you've gone to another political party before getting to ADC, but let's ask you what really motivated you. What was the push? What really brought it thought? Or were you approached by the candidate, or were you approached by the party? How did it come about? Can you share such experience with us?
You see, one's involvement in politics, it's with the wish that one should be service-centric.
Okay.
Politics is not for personal aggrandizement. I believe that those who want to serve should consider the people's interest first and foremost. And when you're in politics, there's no way you can serve the people without getting power. The drive had always been to be able to be part of the power equation so that you can offer good governance to the people of your immediate community or your state or the nation.
Okay.
And that's been the drive. And from all those, that's why you see, when you see the political shifts and movements, while we were in the PDP then, and then Mbaniju was the governor of Anambra State, okay. And then the elections were coming up again, and then ABGA got registered. And people, when you sound out Anambrarians, you see they were asking for change. They were clamoring for change. And we felt with ABGA we could be able to offer that change. And I'm happy, actually, notwithstanding the fact that the candidate I supported then in ABGA did not win. But the person who won on the platform of ABGA, in the person of Mr. Peter Obi, is... People said he offered services. Anambrarians applaud his governance. Okay, so and to that extent, supporting ABGA then was worth it. Okay, now thereafter, like I said, we all have this drive. How do we get to be part of the equation that will offer this service? So these have been the things that keep pushing one from one direction to the other. When Ngige was in power, for the short period he served, Anambrarians applauded his work in this state. And when he left office, I wanted to run again and came in to AC. You know, there was that feeling, if he wins election at Anambra, we'll be better off for it. But you know, that one was, there was actually absolutely no election.
Okay.
There was a kind of the manipulation was too much, but okay. The Supreme Court settled the matter and then got Andiba off office. So the drive at all times had been being part of those who could offer good governance to our communities, our state. Today I'm in ADC because if you look at the trajectory of what is happening in the nation, you will agree with me that things are not going well.
Okay.
And when things are not going well, you ask, do you sit by and watch it continue to go down the drain that way? Or do you put yourself forward and be part of those who could change the narrative? And I felt like joining other Nigerians who feel we should be able to change the narrative in this country, that we should be able to bring back good governance, we should be able to secure our nation, and then that people should not suffer unduly in this country, that we're blessed, we're a blessed country, you know. And that's how we started bringing up this coalition of political parties. And then at the end of the day, today, it's unveiled on the platform of the African Democratic Congress, a party that has shown a great deal of integrity.
Okay.
So that's why today I'm in ADC. And when the ADC candidates, you know, the chief, Mr. John Chumangusu from Odedanewichi in Nnewi, a very versatile ICT guru, and very humble and humane personality, got in as the candidate of the ADC and sought my being part of the ticket. I had no other alternative than to say, yes, let me team forces with him to see if we can change the narrative in Anambra State. Let's be able to offer Anambrarians an alternative. As of today, I can tell you, before we joined the race, it was like Anambrarians were not being offered an alternative. It was, they had what you could call two sides of a coin, and the APC and the APGA.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, there are two sides of the coin, because both of them are clamoring for the sustenance of the governance we have in the nation today that has pauperized people and tried to diminish democratic processes. So what ADC is coming with in Anambra State, we're offering Anambrarians an alternative. Let them look at this alternative. Do they want more of the same, or do they want the alternative? Okay. And the alternative is an alternative that will bring good governance to Anambrarians. Oh. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm in the ticket.
Okay. I want to ask, because when you say alternative, just like one would say, there is always need for an option. If you have any question, if you're taking an examination, you have multiple options, and then you look at the options and then choose the one that best serves your interests. But I want to ask, ADC, just like you said, has been unveiled as the coalition party, and we've seen many members of PDP, even APC in that party. We saw the unveiling a few days ago, likes of Atiku Abubakar, P2P, El Rufai, and so many of these men. And people are asking this question: these men, what kind of alternative are they bringing, when we know for sure that they had been in other political parties and they could not have served those alternatives? So why they were in those parties? What alternative are they bringing up at this point, at this critical point? Are they not what one can best describe as the same wine, maybe in a new context? What do you have to say?
Now, let's look at the gladiators. The man, Peter Obi, who is part of the coalition,
okay,
is adjudged as someone who served meritoriously in Anambra State. He is adjudged as someone who has what it takes to lead a people positively forward.
Okay.
The man Atiku Abubakar, this is a man who was a vice president under the governance of Olusegun Obasanjo.
PDP.
Under the PDP.
Yeah.
And if you ask people, the PDP under Obasanjo and Atiku brought a lot of developmental strides to this nation. They brought the GSM today that we're enjoying. They brought all the anti-corruption agencies. They brought a lot of positive gains to the nation in many ways. And when you ask those who were around that government then, they will tell you that this man, Atiku Abubakar, is the one who has this intellect to hunt for the good eggs, those who have what it takes to bring governance development, and he was a vice president. Since that time, he's never been a president. And if he's in the coalition, and if he could, as a vice president, be able to attract the best brains to see that the country develops, there's no reason why one would start saying that PDP, it was part of PDP that messed up. No, during their tenure, you couldn't have said that PDP messed up Nigeria. No. For 8 years that they were in office, he and Obasanjo, there was a greater...
No corruption then?
Listen, corruption is... When you talk about corruption, you talk about height of corruption. Under their governance, we do not have the kind of sleaze we are seeing today. In fact, they institutionalized agencies that should be able to checkmate corruption.
Or fight political opponents?
No. They institutionalized agencies that should be able to fight corruption. It's today, in these days now, that agency is being used to fight political opponents. That wasn't what they put in place. So then you look at, for a short while, Mbeki Hedia was governor of Imo State. People applauded him. Okay? Tambua, who was the former speaker of the House of Reps, when he was the speaker, the House of Reps had a voice. Okay? Then, so you have a lot of them who are a part of this coalition. I'm not saying everybody is a saint, but the fact of the matter remains that the coalition offers a better alternative to Nigerians and to Anambrarians because things are not going well. All of us who are citizens of this nation know that for the past 2 years, if you were a billionaire, today you are struggling to remain a millionaire. If you were a millionaire, you're struggling to be it. Even at our homes, if you give your wife now 20,000 naira to go to the market to buy things to cook a pot of soup, she'll be looking at you as if, is this man well? Because when she goes into the market, she'll be having challenges. What do I buy? How can I do it? How can I make a pot of soup? So you cannot be telling people things are well. People will feel it when it is well. And the feeling today is that things are not well. And I tell you, the ADC coalition will change that narrative, both at the center and in Anambra State.
I'm curious, for those of you who are joining us at this point, this is Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM. And I'm still your Honorable Speaker, Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki. In the studio with us, we have a guest, Dr. Ndubisi Wobu Obuka Oka, the ADC governorship candidate for Anambra. Deputy governorship candidate for Anambra 2025 gubernatorial election. And then he's here talking about the plans and the programs of the ADC and the coalition. And many Nigerians have been talking about this coalition. Many of them were taken aback about this coalition. He has just said now that this coalition has men of team and caliber. He mentioned likes of Tambo when he was the speaker. What kind of house did we have compared to what we have right now? You mentioned Mbeki Hedia. The short period he was the governor of Imo State, that people rejoiced and people saw good governance. And these are men that have joined the coalition. We are back here in Anambra State. I would ask you, you've been in ABGA, you've also been in PDP and ADC. In your own mind, what do you think is the difference between these three political parties? What distinguishes ADC from ABGA and possibly from PDP? We're not going to talk about different ACN.
Okay. The ABGA we founded then is no longer the ABGA of today.
No more ABGA for Ojukwu?
No more. No, the ABGA we founded is no longer the
But Ojukwu's head is still there?
No, Ojukwu's head has been removed. So far, so long ago they removed Ojukwu's head. They have now personalized ABGA. Then when ABGA was formed, the intendment was to bring up a party that will stand for the entire Southeast and be able to allow us have a basis for negotiation with the other parts of this country in a manner that the Igbo man's voice could be heard. But today, what we have is a personalized ABGA. People have now reduced it to Okay, check it out. Has there been any other Abga government anywhere in the southeast? Is there
had been in Imo State under Rocha Sokorocha.
No,
and in fact, Lex Shoti nearly won, but we were told he was rigged out.
No, he didn't win. Rocha Sokorocha, who left Abga
and joined APC.
So I'm talking about Abga as a party. Today, Abga had remained in one state, Anambra, and Anambrarians are not better off for it. We need to be part of a party, a political party that would have. When a meeting is being called of political parties today in Nigeria,
okay,
the PDP, for instance, they call meeting of governors. The APC, they call meeting of governors. So Abga will call meeting of governor.
And possibly, don't you think they may be in alliance with maybe another progressive party? Just as the governor said when the president visited.
See. We can't be dancing like people who have no direction. Okay, if you have a direction, you have no need. If I were governor under Abga in Anambra State for all this while Abga has been formed, I would have been able to show capacity from my governance deliverables that Abga should be a government that should be in the whole 5 southeast states. Okay? Listen, they have reduced Abga to personal property. That's what I'm telling you. It's no longer the Abga we founded. And when you talk about the PDP, I was the former state chairman of the PDP. You can agree with me. You see, when you talk about a political party, the citizenry who are not politicians, they watch the games we are playing, and they know the parties that are serious and the parties that are not serious. We now, at a certain point in time in PDP, we now had a leprous hand in it, and it's been decimating the party. Today you hear this governor moves, you hear the other one moves, you hear the senator moves, House of Rep moves, blah, blah, blah. Meeting at the national level, the views of the Southeast people cannot even be allowed to crystallize. The Southeast people says, this is our secretary. Then you impose a secretary on them from outside. So a lot of things have gone wrong. And that party is no longer in contention for power in the state.
Okay.
So if you're in a political party and is no longer in contention for power, so what are you in that party for?
So who is that leprous hand you say that is in PDP?
You see, everyone knows the leprous hand. You don't
want to mention his name?
Everybody knows that the hand of Wike is the leprous hand of the PDP. So let's not go dwelling on that. What is important to me is that today, politicians across the length and breadth of this country have coalesced under the ADC to be able to change the narrative. And that party has what it takes. Let's take an instance. My governorship candidate, like I said, an IT guru, has come up with what we call the pillars upon which this state can be changed, which is anchored on what he calls SHEMS, SHEEMS, starting with security. You know, the security situation in Anambra State, you will agree with me, is very perilous. It's, for the past 3 years, it's been a terrible one. And the government of the day, in this last season of election, made efforts to see if they can give a semblance that there is security. But when things are not well thought out and planned, the governor had 3 years before now, and there was nothing done on security. And then all of a sudden, towards the election year, it grapples with something which is haphazard. Security should be intentional. If you want to institute a security in this state that will be a driver for businesses, for the economy to thrive, you have to be intentional. One, you have to profile those you are going to get involved in the security, to be too sure that they are not the same persons who cause these insecurity situations. When you profile them, you ensure that they, in recruiting them, that there are guarantors and sureties for them. Then you train them. There should be effective training. When you train them, the next thing is deployment. But before you deploy people, there should be instituted what I could call life and occupational hazard insurance policy. If someone is going to put his life on the line, the person should be able to know that if anything happens, perchance, maybe in the course of chasing criminals, the person is shot at, maybe the leg is amputated, that the family will not suffer. These things are things that I should be intentional.
Are they not involved?
No,
because we have Operation Udala, actually, that's the Joint Security Task Force, and that of Agone Chamber. So you are saying that they were not giving all these things you are mentioning?
Can you get what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you that security, you have to be intentional about it.
Okay.
When you profile those that are going to be recruited, in recruiting them, make sure they have guarantors and sureties. Train them. When you've trained them, equip them. Provide them with life and occupational hazard insurance policies. In equipping them, you ensure that the vehicles they are going to use are vehicles. Okay, have you watched the Agone Chamber or the Udala people with dilapidated Sienna? If they are chasing criminal and along the way their Sienna gets has a problem on the way, the criminals could come back for them. Listen, you do not provide such vehicles for security.
So what kind of vehicles?
You provide them with new functional vehicles.
So the ones Governor provided about 160 vehicles given to different security agencies. They are not.
Those things are not vehicles. Those things are they are hazard for them.
Oh, hazard.
Very great hazard.
That's
for
what you
the
call
personnel.
those vehicles.
I said they are hazard for the personnel.
So are you saying that if John Wosu, who is your governorship candidate, if he's there, what do you think he could have done?
We will provide functional vehicles. Functional vehicles for the security. Do you understand what it means? That you are chasing criminals, and your vehicle will get dilapidated on the way. Those vehicles are death traps for the security agencies. I cannot be part of government.
But they were imported into the country.
I don't know. Maybe the accidented Belgium Siennas.
Accidented Belgium Siennas
that were supported. Get me very well. Because I'm still talking about security. Because security is a driver of this of economy in the state. Now, when you've done that, you should be intentional. You provide the security agencies. You have the Agone Chamber, beautiful idea, but poorly managed. Okay, then you have the police, you have the DSS, you have the army. You provide them with adequate support. For the past 3 years, going to 4 years, check out any of the police stations if any of their vehicle has been changed by the state government as a way of support. It's not been done. And when you buy vehicles for security agencies, it should be equipped with modern day technology.
Like?
Gadgets that from any point of the state, by a mere call, all these points where those vehicles are located will be getting signals, and then know that something is happening at so and so point. We should be able to have a command and control center.
They say that we have such.
No, there's nothing like that. Please, let people not deceive us in this state. We are an umbrellas. We should be able to have it. Effective command and control centers where Anambra should be equipped effectively with cameras, CCTV cameras at every entry point. As you're coming into Anambra, there should be a camera capturing those who are entering into Anambra, be it from the airport, be it from the river Rhine, be it from Oga, be it from Ehiala, be it from Ugu-Abamansi border, be it from Omasi area, any point at which you're entering into Anambra, there should be effective CCTV coverage. And all the major road networks should have equipped camera coverage that are all linked. Okay? Are you getting me? if we're able to, you see, let me give you an instance. Something happens at Aroma Junction. And at the moment it happens, a signal is sent. And through technological installations, all the command centers are energized. Within a space of 5 minutes, all routes leading out of Aroma will be covered, will be cordoned off. When the criminals know that once you do a thing, you can't even leave the vicinity of that place within 5 minutes, they will say, Anambra is not safe. We better look for some other places. Okay? You can't be employing Akodo security in a modern day.
Is Akodo a security outfit? I think it's for anti-touting.
No, I said what is being employed today, what we are having today is more of Akodo security.
Akodo security. That's what you brand the kind of security.
Yes.
Not the one that are going or chasing touts.
No. I say what we have, the kind of thing the ones that chase tout again. You don't chase tout with Akodo.
What do you chase them with?
Please, there are more civilized ways of handling situations. Okay, if these touts are considered not very rugged, not well behaved, so you must use the same way to catch up with them.
Like electric shock.
You have tasers. You have tasers.
So tasers would have been much more better than Akodo.
Yes, because listen, tasers does not it will that momentarily. Then the person will be handcuffed and then handed over to security agencies to deal with. But when you use Akodo, the person will never recover from it. So many people have been. There's one of my friends from Onitsha here, a former president of Chamber of Commerce, who had been lying critically ill in the hospital because of the kind of Akodo that was used on him, and he had spinal cord injury, and many have been decapitated. So that's not the kind of things we should be doing in this modern time. There are better ways of handling situations. Okay, so but I'm saying the security, when you get it right, this pursuit for investment will start pursuing us. If people know that Anambra is safe.
Is Anambra not safe now?
No, it's not safe.
But then even when some have adjudged it to be one of the most safest states,
please,
according to the Nigerian police and the Anambra State Police Command.
I don't know who is giving you that vibe.
Oh.
Please, that person is telling a story from the moonlight, okay? The fact of the matter is that you can't, when you're moving around, you're looking at the back.
Okay.
Every moment, everywhere you go around, and you're looking at your back. Many communities are not accessible up to this moment in time. And you're telling me it's safe? What kind of safe? When people want to bury loved ones, they can't even go back to their places to bury loved, and you say it's safe? What kind of safe is that? My brother, the other day, the NDLA man was attacked. So we need an effective security that is driven by technology. When you have an effective security driven by technology, investments will come into Anambra. Anambrans are considered as the greatest entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And if they know that their state is safe for their businesses, they will pour their resources into the state in such a manner that industries will overwhelm us. And when industries overwhelm the state, then there will be greater employment opportunities.
Okay.
And when there is greater employment opportunities, then you find out that the criminality will be reduced to the barest minimum. So it's a catalyst. So it is something that should not be treated with just kid gloves. It's something that any government should be very intentional about.
Okay. I want to ask you, because you've talked about so much about what you plan to, you and your governorship candidate plan to do on area of security, trying to bring in technology, saying that the kind of security we have presently is a coded style of security. But outside that, let's talk about pillars. You have James, as you enumerated, and then we've got so many of them, like education, economy, environment, market, social welfare, security, health, education. Let me take you on environment. Currently, we've seen urban renewal project going on in a number of states, and then the ABGA government is talking about Onitsha 2.0, Orca 2.0, and then Ekulobia. Recently, the governor of Anambra State launched a Ekulobia Solution Park and Market, where we see some beautiful, one could say, beautiful edifices, and that the governor said that's just a way of trying to urbanize Ekulobia axis. I don't know. Last time we ask this question: do you people have plan for this issue of I saw environment? Is it captured under environment or plan for this urban revitalization or regeneration, whatever name you can give it? And aside that, I want to find out what could be your plans in area of education and health, because we're gonna just look at these two things together. And one would say, if it is not broken, why mend it? What are you going to bring new to the way things are done in these areas in Anambra State? We've seen awards won where Anambra State was adjudged the best in area of health, primary health care center, and they won dollars, not something organized locally. We've also seen where the governor has been costing home with different awards in infrastructure in so many areas from more than 10 organizations. Are you gonna offer alternative to nothing or alternative to something? Let's get your thoughts.
Well, if this is the Dubai Taiwan and umbrellas were promised, then it is very unfortunate.
Okay.
I can tell you on the issue, on this, like I mentioned, we have our pillars based on the SHEMS. I've talked about the security, which, like I said, is a great driver of every economy and every society. When you come to the issue of health, you see, it's not a question of saying that there's free health care,
antenatal,
delivery. Please go to those hospitals, and you'll find you feel very ashamed of our state. Okay, and it's you see, this propaganda is not something that it's not worth it. When you say things are well, that these things are available, let the citizens feel it. It's like when they say free education. Go to the schools. Every school is begging one philanthropist or the other for one thing or to help them be able to be on. Okay, we are talking about deliverables that will be definite and achievable. The environment you mentioned, when you take on issues of environment, my candidate has said, you know, Anambra is an ecologically prone area. Okay, it has these ecological problems in terms of, in many parts of the state, you find out that there's gully erosions here and there, and these erosions are not helpful to development in those areas, in those states, in those communities. And my candidate and myself, we will do our very best to ensure that we have what is sustainable process of checking these erosions, so that communities could come back to their homes. Many communities are being chased away because of erosion challenges. Okay? So, and then when you're talking about urban renewal is something that you have a design phase. There must be clear design. Before you start going into an urban city and saying you're renewing it, you should be able to understand what it looks like today, and then project what you want it to be in the next 10, 20 years. And then you plan towards it. But this one is you will see one day they will go into one community and then they start one thing. These things are not planned. These things are not well thought out. When we get involved, we will do urban regeneration in a manner that is carefully thought out and planned to work.
All right.
And that will be sustainable.
Okay.
Education today is moving towards STEM. And that is what we would emphasize on. Look at our neighboring state here in Enugu State. Huh? Go there and see what Mba is doing in the areas of education. The kind of infrastructure is providing on the ground for educational development. Okay? Then you will see that is intentioned about it. And the whole there's a design to ensure that it works. That's the kind of educational program we would want to bring on board in Anambra State.
Okay.
So these things are like, let me give you an instance. Some of us who are entrepreneurs, you need as a businessman, a one channel for payment of all your due levies, taxes, or whatever. Today, one agency will come, they will ask you that you have to pay this. The other agency will come, you have to pay for this. The other agency will come, you have to pay for this. Even market women who sell vegetables are taxed. These are not right. These are people who should be supported.
All right.
There should be a one channel for payment of taxes and levies in a state. And when you pay, you know you're paying right to the government.
Okay.
And these things, what I'm trying to say is that things should be well designed and thought out and implemented.
All right.
Rather than haphazard.
All right. Because of time, we have to manage our time, and then you've been speaking so glowing about presenting the alternative. We'll just open the phone lines and ask our listeners to get involved. But we're gonna go on break, but that'll be after we've taken one or two questions. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue. But let me quickly, ask our listeners to come up with your questions. But remember, we've been speaking with Ndubisi Nwobu. We know him so much for his time in PDP, but he's now in ADC, and he's talking about so much about the coalition, saying one time weekend, the other time he said these are coalition of frustrated, aggrieved Nigerians, those who are bitter, those who feel betrayed, those who are not in power. That's the coalition. That's what we can classify these coalition groups, saying they were once in power. What did they do? What did they bring? What could they have done? But then today, under 6 months, they have started coalition. That's what he said. Under 6 months, they have started coalition. That's what it means, that they did not even give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu time to settle in office. And according to Bolaji Abdullah, he said that we started this coalition about 18 months ago. So that means that they could have started this just for 6 months. That these people were embittered, aggrieved, and disenchanted, and just coming just because they're not in power. That's according to Wike. But I don't know if you have any statement to make on that before we open the phone lines and I take some questions. And after we do that, we go on break.
You asked if it's not broken, why fix it? Anambra is broken. Our security is very perilous. We need to bring proper security to this state so that investments could thrive.
Okay.
On Wike's verbal statement about the coalition, Nigerians are angry. It is not the coalition.
Are you also angry?
I'm very angry. Very, very, very. Nigerians are angry. And Wike, who says that with his money he bought a Rolls Royce, how much is his salary? Let me ask you, how much is his salary?
His father is rich. He's not from a poor background. His father was was the owner of many companies. That's what he said.
His father. Please go and check out who is Wike. You see, these things, when people talk on the televisions and then they dramatize, these things are not things you people should take to heart. Okay, he's turned out to be a dramatist once before the television. But he should be asked in a country where people are finding it difficult to take a meal in a day.
Okay.
He is glorifying a government employee, glorifying buying a Rolls Royce. How much is his salary? From where is he making that money? What businesses does he do? Wike was my colleague as a local government chairman, 1999 to 2002. From that time till date, what other businesses is he doing or has he done? To be able to buy Rolls Royce, and he is glorifying it before Nigerians, and that is why we are all angry.
Okay, all right. We're going to continue with this, and then later we're going to give you, more time for you to take on questions. But before then, you have to permit me. I have to go on break and take some commercials to allow you come back and then give you, more extended time to take on people that will want to ask a question. And we'll be right back after this little break. Remember, this is Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM.
full of questions, there is a path that leads to fulfilling answers. For centuries, the Rosicrucian Order, AMOC, has been a beacon of light for seekers of truth. Are you interested in self-mastery and the hidden wisdom of the ages to transform your life? Then the Rosicrucian Order, AMOC, welcomes you. Join a global community of students of life. Study the ancient wisdom and apply timeless universal principles to modern living. Visit www.amok.org.ng to learn more. The Rosicrucian Order, AMOC, illuminating minds, transforming lives with light, life, and love.
You're more than you think, and discovering who you really are and what incredible power you have is one of the great things you should accomplish in this life. Professor Lodge AMOC Onitsha cordially invites you to a free public lecture on the topic Self-Mastery for Service to Humanity, to be delivered by Father Emmanuel Obijuru, Past Master. Date Sunday 6 July 2025. Time 2 p.m. Venue Dolly Hills Hotel 33. For more enquiries, call 070-3226-8824 or 080-9194-0671. Signed by Factor Ezekiel James, Master Processors Lodge Onitsha.
Good news and welcome to Winners Global Estate, Heaven in Ogwashuku and Nyocha Local Government Area, Asaba, Delta State. Home sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, mamas and papas, Winners Global Estate is here with a special promo package for real winners. Don't miss out in this laudable promo 2025, Heaven on Earth.
Buy, build, live, work, and enjoy. Unlock your dream home of reality. Winners Global Estate is selling fast. 3.5 million, 50 by 100. No more 7 million. Promo price. For booking and more information, please call
081-6440-4098 or 080-3744-3787. Winners Global Estate. Your security is assured.
Hello, Philip.
Guy, how far now? It's 11:45. Waiting shop.
I beg, no vex. My landlord locked me for outside, though.
Again?
No vex. I beg, have you come sleep for your side this night?
Omo, my babe, they around, though. But nothing do you. Try call celebrity landlady.
Guy, serious now. Celebrity Kini.
Celebrity landlady. See, with celebrity landlady, you fit turn landlord with just 100k every week.
Nah, lie.
I go lie for you.
Not true. You can own your dream land with just 100k weekly. Yes, with Celebrity Landlady Safe to Buy plan, that property where you dream of fit be your own just like that. Oh, a Safe to Buy plan allows you to pay for your dream land instrumentally, easy, flexible, and all yours. A Safe to Buy plan is convenient and safe. Start now and become a proud property owner in top locations like Ochulu Asaba, behind Ogwashuku Polytechnic, Admiralty Drive, Ibusa, and Isel Asaba. For more information, call us now on 0701 018 8042 or 0903 844 9351. Celebrity Landlady, turning you into a proud homeowner.
Okay, so Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM this very beautiful Saturday morning, the 5th day in the month of July, the year 2025. Wherever you're listening to us from, it's always a pleasure to have you. Remember, you can be part of this very program. Go to our social media handle, go to our Facebook, Udala Radio. Please go to our YouTube, and at the same time, go to the Radio Garden, and at the same time, our website. We have in the studio with us Sir Dr. Geoffrey Ndubisi Nwopo, and then well known during his time as the PDP state chairman, now the deputy governorship candidate of African Democratic Congress. He has told us and he has talked so much about this coalition, but he said that this coalition is not a coalition of aggrieved Nigerians, but he said he's angry. That's what he said. That as far as Nigeria is concerned, in fact, the Anambra state is broken. That's what he said, that he is angry. And they are saying that they are presenting a credible alternative, and he has been able to explore some of these alternatives and what they could do differently. They are not, according to him, not making noise, but they mean every what they say, and then we will have to open the phone lines for you to ask him questions, and then we are going to also ask the same question. By the time you get asking question, you can call our phone lines 0803 221 6976, and you can also call 0803 827 6694. Once you call this line, you will be part of this very program. But then there's somebody that really wants to really come in here. But let's see if we can just do that quickly before we go general. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Good morning, my speaker, Olisa Mbeki.
You're welcome.
My name is Basil Ugu, the majority leader of the People's Parliament.
Please go on.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, Basil.
Thank you. I know about you for a very long time. Even though I have met you a lot of time, but my question now regarding the ADC, I want to know if one of your colleagues and your master, Obukoka Nabazigwe, the man we know very well, Ijele, which is the senator.
Ben Obi, you mean?
Ben in the BCOB. Is he now in the ADC? Or is he in PDP?
Okay.
That's my first question. So my second question is, regarding the education in Anambra State, you talked about STEM. How do we go about it? Because we know that the education is the root of citizen and the development of youth. And this STEM is not working in Anambra State. Other states and other countries is everything education now is in house. It's not more of theory. So what are we going to do regarding the hands in education, reducing the quality and the quantity we put, the effort we put too much in this theory, practical and other educational system? So I want you to extend your dictation on that so that we can know about that. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Let's take other questions. You just maybe take them down, and with time we are going to take all of them together. Good morning. You're welcome. It's good to have you. Are you there? Good morning.
My name is Badmos. I'm calling from Unewu.
You're welcome, Badmos. Calling from Unewu. Please go on.
I want to ask the guest in the studio, the deputy governorship candidate. If along the line, because the time they were selected as governor and deputy governor, the coalition have not emerged. Now, this new national chairman and those that are involved in this new coalition into ADC, if along the line they now come up and say to you and your principal that you people should step aside, that they now have somebody who is more competent than you, that will take over the platform, that will contest as governor and deputy governor, will you guys step aside? Then, number two, if at the end of the day, you and your principal emerge the winner of Anambra State governorship election, will you be happy as a deputy governor if your principal, who is the governor, jettisoning you the way Tinubu jettisoned Kashim Shettima, and the way Soludo jettisoned his deputy? Will you be happy if you are treated the way most deputy governors we have in Nigeria are being treated, being the way they are being jettisoned? Because you are today speaking on radio. If your party wins today, it is where the governor wants you to go, is where you will go. So I want to ask you, on a personal background, how do you see the way deputy governors and vice presidents are being treated in Nigeria?
All right, we got that question. All right, thank you so much. Let's take another question because we have got so many questions. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Good morning, my speaker, Tony Mbeki.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
I did the voice of Honorable Iglesias Okoye from Mauritius, Kenya.
Please go on.
Concerning the collusion or merger, whatever.
Coalition.
We love it. This is a welcome development in Nigeria and politics now. And coming to Anambra State, I think there's nothing wrong in Anambra State now. By the what we are seeing happening with the president governor, I think is it not better for this you are the principal, you are the governor, and you just wait for after Soludo based on the what will Anambra State
Okay. All right. We got a question from Honorable Ignatius Okoye from Newi. Good morning. You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Good morning, Team Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Good morning, our guests in the studio.
Good morning, my brother.
My name is Ogochukwu, all the way from Udi, Enugu State. Can I go on?
Ogochukwu, all the way from Udi in Enugu State. Please go on.
Yeah, I want to dwell on that coalition, ADC coalition. I want to ask our guests, that coalition you guys want to use to unseat an Iroko, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do you think that Atiku Abubakar, the Waziri of Adamawa, will step down for our brother people to claim the ticket? Because from the look of things, Atiku is too desperate to rule this country. So I want you to answer me this question. Do you see Atiku stepping down for our brother P2B to fly the flag of ADC 2027? Thank you.
All right, we got a question. Let's go back to the phone lines. We're going to take as many questions, and then he's jotting down some of these questions.
Very good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Yeah, and very good morning to you, our guest.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, Chidi Chukuma is my name. I'm reaching you from God this morning.
You're welcome, Chidi Chukuma. Please go on. From
yes,
above.
In every region here in Anambra State, we have three senatorial zones: the north, the south, and the central. I don't know where our guest hail from. I think he's from Anambra Central.
Yes, you're very correct. I'm from Oka in Anambra Central.
Oka is Anambra Central, yes. So the zoning arrangement has come to stay. I want to tell the whole politicians, God has blessed us with people of timbers and caliber from every region, every zone in Anambra State, from north, the south, central, and so on. We have timbers and caliber. Like our guest is one of them, the timbers and caliber that we have. So we don't want any politician to distort the zoning formula. If anybody wants to contest, you have to insert it. This thing is for the equity and fairness. That is why this formation agreement, or let's call it a gentleman agreement, for the power to continue to rotate from one zone to the other. So we are comfortable with that. So our guests, I will advise you, after I think it's the next after the 8 years now, when chance to complete
the issue of zoning, we got a question. You are talking about zoning, how this zoning would also play out that a number of people respect zoning. I think that's the point you made here. He will address that by the time we open it, allow him to come in. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Good morning. This morning, Olisa Mbeki.
You're welcome. It's good to have you. It's good to have you.
Good morning. Let me say, the past chairman of CDP Anambra State, because that's where we met last. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
Sir, this is Bishop, Honorable Bishop Desmond Okolo. I'm reaching you from Awada, boasting up on the Kingdom North of Udala.
You're welcome. Please go on.
Well, I want to say that the coalition is a welcome development in as much as the governance of this country is concerned. But let me bring you down to our state, Anambra. Considering the November 8th governorship election here, please, my friend, my boss, what are you putting in place? Because as far as I'm concerned, this ADC of 18 is not yet in the mind and in the spirit and in the body of Anambra people. Because the time you left PDP, you handed over PDP to somebody, which I know very well. Now, what are you planning, the people that you left PDP for, and the guy in current leadership of PDP now, what are you planning to make sure that the people of Anambra State come to know about this ADC, where you are contesting as a deputy governor? Because I know nationwide, ADC have not done nationwide registration of members. So I think you still have to do a lot of job to make sure that people you left in PDP knows about ADC, convincing them, trying to tell them the importance of leaving PDP for ADC, and some other ingredients that made you to have abandoned PDP, which I believe you organized PDP, Those days you are parting the chain. PDP was strong, doing their thing the way it's supposed to be done. Now you are no longer there, but you planted somebody there, which I know very well. So, my brother, my boys, what are you putting in place to make sure that this spirit of ADC is well because of the election we are planning come November 8th? Thank you so much, and God bless you.
All right, thank you so much. We'll take one more question, and then we give him time to respond to some of these questions. There's so many of them, and that tells you the reach, the traffic, and then why people are logged on to the dial 104.7 FM or Udala FM. Let's quickly take one more, and we'll come back to you. We've got so many questions to answer, and then the last one has to do with the presence of ADC in many parts of Anambra State. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Yeah, good morning, my speaker.
You're welcome. Can you be audible more, please?
Good morning, my speaker, Olisa Mbeki, and our guest in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
I'm reaching from Onitsha.
You're welcome. Quickly.
My speaker, yes, he has spoken very well as regards to security. Are you getting it? And how to go about it. I want to ask him, do they have the way with that to implement all that he has said about security in Anambra State?
Does you mean the way we there? Where would the funds come from? And possibly, if they could be in partnership with any organization, the where we doubt. It's not about stating some of these things. How would they get these things implemented if eventually the people decide they will be there?
Yeah, definitely, because he has spoken very well to that aspect, and that means they have something up their list, can say that Nigerians how to go about it. And secondly, I think he's contesting as alongside the governor.
Yeah.
He's not the one contesting, am I right? May I ask you, when is he?
I'm the deputy governorship candidate.
Where is the governor from? Which zone is he from?
And which zone are you from too? So issue of zoning again?
Yes.
You are back to issue of zoning.
If you are from Central, where is the deputy governorship candidate from?
Okay, all right.
My governorship candidate, Mr. John Chukwumanwosu, is from Odeda Nnewi, in Nnewi town of Nnewi local government in Anambra South Senatorial Zone.
Anambra South.
Okay. Yes.
So to clear the over what our brother Mr. Chima asked, are you getting it?
Yes, very well.
All I'm saying is that we are brothers, and let's find a way of making sure Anambra works. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Let's quickly stop the calls in now because we've got so many of them. If you start picking these calls, you'll be here for many hours. Let's go back to some of the questions raised by those who have listened to you this very morning. You've got so many of them. I don't know where you will begin. You can begin anywhere.
Okay, thank you, dear listeners. The questions, it's a testament to the fact that Anambrians are very keen to know what we have to offer, and that people are tuned into Udala FM greatly. I'll start with that question from Basil Ugo. My dear Basil, Okozona Wazigwe Ojelibo, our brother, is a member of the PDP, but I can assure you that he's part of the coalition. He's part of those who are harnessing this coalition, and he's part of those who have made it possible for the coalition to come to play. He played various roles even in deciding what political party should be the coalition party, and he's very much involved and engaged. And at the appropriate time, you will see him step out. On the issue of education that you did highlight, I said some of us Anambarians can take a look, take a drive to Enugu State and see what Mba is putting in place today in terms of education. Why can't we do that in Anambra and do even more? Anambarians are very talented, very educated, and should do much more than what is happening in Enugu State. Having appreciated what Mba is doing, what I'm saying is that if we come into office by the special grace of God and by the support of Anambarians, part of the things we will do is to encourage training programs in the sciences. If you devise a training program for those who are teaching in the science areas, and again give incentives to those who are in the universities learning science subjects, and indicate to them that when they're employed in the Anambra system, in the Anambra educational system, that they will have greater incentive if they take on the courses that are STEM-based. That will greatly help to ensure that we have better teachers in the sciences, because that's where the world is moving into. So it's doable.
And then I would also want to add, because you mentioned Enugu. I don't know if Enugu has free education from the primary school down to X3. So would you people sustain that, even though it is not legislated upon? So there's free education in Anambra State. Is this something you're gonna sustain? Or you mentioned about, I don't think if there is any free education in Enugu State.
The free education we have in Anambra State is neither here nor there. It's a free education that has predisposed the schools to becoming beggarly. The facilities are not provided. We will ensure that the schools do not get to be beggarly, that the government will do what it needs to do. I've said part of the things we will do is be intentional about supporting those who are undergraduates in the sciences, giving incentives for our children to go into the sciences through the tertiary institutions, and then ensuring that there is adequate facilities in place in our secondary schools, and then enhancing the remuneration of those who will be teaching in those areas. By so doing, we will be able to. So the sustenance of this free education is something that should be taken for granted, but not to sustain it and then at the same time make the schools to be beggarly. We will not only sustain it, but we will provide needed facilities so that the schools will not be beggarly. At times you see principals, they keep going around begging, help us do this, help us do that, help us do that. That should not be, that's not what it should be. the government should be able to do what it needs to do. Education is the bedrock of the society. If you get the children educated at the primary and secondary school level, you will find out that when they go into the tertiary institutions, the higher institutions, they would be able to excel. But if you fail at the foundation level, it becomes a big challenge. That on I got Badmus. I got your questions about issues that has to do with whether if the national chairman of the new coalition comes on board and asks my principal, the governor's candidate, and myself to step down for some other persons. You see, the only thing that is constant in life is change. But incidentally, the issue of candidature has a timeline. Even if they get sense now that may be greater than us, the timeline for submission of names of candidates and their deputies is over and done with. So there's no way they can ask for us to be changed at this point in time. Doing that will mean that they want to shoot themselves in the leg. So they won't do that, I can assure you. On the issue of what happens between the principals and their deputies, will I be happy to be consigned to the dustbin like president has done to his deputy and be invited only to attend naming ceremonies and shows in the same way that the governor of the state has done to his deputy here? Well, listen, I can tell you that is not the best for the country, and it's not the best for our state. A deputy ought to be of assistance to his principal. I can tell you, it's part of our constitution, the problems with our constitution in the country. In essence, I would say there's a need for the deputy to have a role, a task specified by the constitution. But at the same time, I would say it behoves on a deputy to have a good working relationship with his principal. Because if you have a good working relationship with your principal, you will find out that your principal will even devolve much more than even the constitution can even provide to you as the deputy, because he understands that you have a role to play. Ignatius, my brother, he said, Ignatius, I appreciate you for saying that you love the coalition. And you indicated, is it not better that we, notwithstanding the coalition that you love so much, that we allow Soludo to finish his next 4 years? I tell you, a second term is not a guaranteed one. That is why it's an election. It is only the populace, the citizenry, that would say, Mr. A or Mr. B has done well, we will give that person another opportunity. Or no, he or she has not done well, we want someone else to come into the saddle and carry out that responsibility. And I've told you in the course of this interview that Anambra is broken and needs to be fixed. Our security is a great challenge to Anambrarians. It's chasing away investment drive. We are not getting it right in the educational sector. Again, let me take, for instance, how come that a governor of a state would sit back idly and watch businesses being harassed by other government agencies from the Federation? Look at what happened at the pharmaceutical market in FM Onitsha, where NDLA closed up the place for quite a long period of time. And traders are now being asked to pay millions of naira before their shops can be opened up. Is this not terrible? And our governor says nothing about it. And Anambrarians are known for commerce and trade. How would the economy thrive in a situation whereby the trade and commerce that Anambrarians are known for is being decapitated?
But then there was this statement that the governor visited there and also promised to help reopen the very place, and then spoke with the the NAFDAC officials and then the zonal officials, and then even promised the people that the place will be reopened. And then we saw video where he was there addressing the traders. But then he said nothing, but he went there himself and then addressed the traders.
Mbeki, I tell you something. There is something that is cosmetic. Up to this moment, as I speak with you, many of the shops are still locked up. And they are being asked to pay millions before the shops can be opened up. In one way has the government intervened.
So what would they have done? Because it's a federal agency, NAFDAC.
Thank you. Federal agencies, is it only Anambra that they have a pharmaceutical market? Why must, okay. Hold on. You know that place is a pharmaceutical market. Okay? And you're telling people you don't have windows, you don't have this, you don't have that. Inside the market, and people have been coming there, you've been inspecting their drugs all this while, and you never put that as a condition. That's why I said things should be intentional. You should not, if the NDA feels that windows and the rest of them are prerequisites, then they should have indicated that ab initio in the terms of the construction of those places as a condition precedent before you can own a shop. You must have this, you must have that. This market has to be built in this way, in that way, in that way. Not when the market is already functional. And then you come around and say, because this is not available, that is not there. I'm saying the government of the state, knowing fully well that Anambarians are traders and people in commerce, should do more than that, should interface, should discuss. If I were the governor, I would have a closed-door shop with NDLA, and we'll be able to come to.
If they insist on that, what will you have?
No, they can't insist on that. They can't insist.
They did it before, during the time of P2B.
I said they can't insist.
It was 4 months under Dollar Kunyele.
Can you get me? And I said, I'm saying to you, they cannot insist. There are ways you interface. Okay, these businesses, when you close them up, what do you expect them to do? To become robbers? To become kidnappers? How do they fend for their families? It's unconscionable, I can tell you. It's unconscionable. And I will tell you, as a governor or deputy governor, I will fight with that federal agency and ensure that they do the right thing. Okay? Now, my brother Ogochukwu there from Enugu State, I appreciate you being interested in the ADC, and you are supporting the coalition. The question you put forward to me is that considering the desperation of the man Atiku to be the president, how would I be sure that he would step down for Mr. Peter Obi? While that question is speculative, I will tell you something. At the PDP, when we were at the PDP, in one of the meetings of the NEC, because when people posit issues, they don't see the facts of it. But as a member of the NEC, in the course of the issue of zoning of the presidency, at that level, the man Atiku in the meeting of the NEC said, if you zone to the southeast, I will withdraw from this race, this moment. But don't tell me you're zoning to the south, because the southwest had held the presidency, the south-south had had the presidency. It is only the southeast in the south that has not held the presidency, and then the northeast in the north that has not held the presidency. So if you are saying you're zoning to the southeast, I will withdraw. Then I will know that after the southeast, that it will be turn of the northeast. If he could make that kind of statement, I can conjecture that there is a possibility, if discussions are well held, that he could give a chance for our brother P2B to run for the presidency. That's what I want to say about that. These things are possible. Nothing is impossible in politics. Once you bring dialogue into the question and you bring the conversation and then negotiations, these things can work out. Okay? Chuma from Opo said, Chuma, I want to tell you, the zoning arrangement in Anambra State is something that I am very passionate about. I agree with you that the zoning should be allowed to be sustained. But maybe you are confusing me as running for the governorship. No, I'm the deputy governorship candidate. The governorship candidate of the ADC is John Chukwuma Nwosu, an ICT expert from Odeda Nnewi, in the Nnewi local government area of Anambra South Senatorial Zone. So we are we are keeping faith with the zoning arrangement of Anambrarians. And again, John Chumanwosu has said, I will run for a 4-year single tenure and will sustain the zoning arrangement in Anambra State by handing over to someone from Anambra Central Senatorial Zone after my 4-year office. So we in the ADC, we are very conscious of the zoning, and we will do everything to see that it's sustained in Anambra State. Bishop, I thank you for your, Bishop Okolo, Desmond Okolo, thank you for your interest again in the coalition and for being able to appreciate what I did in the PDP to take the PDP to greater heights in Anambra State. And your question is, how do I convince others in the PDP to join the ADC? Bishop, I call on you as someone who has been part of the my trajectory and my journey in the PDP, that this conviction is not for me alone to do. You have to help me, you have to join me. But again, being on Udala Radio 104.7 FM is part of that effort to make people understand that we are never not today about ADC. And to ask those who believe in me, who believe in things, the way I do things, that there's an integrity that I bring to bear in everything I do. I urge all my associates, friends, and well-wishers that as we speak, I am the deputy governorship candidate of African Democratic Congress, ADC, the coalition party. Please find it in your hearts to join me, to team up with me, to ensure that we get this right and that you get your voter's card and vote for the ADC come November 8, 2025 election. Finally, on Ezekiel that spoke from Onitsha. Yes, how do we find the wherewithal to implement
the wherewithal, the money, the resources, the funds?
Yes. How do we find the wherewithal to implement all this we've spelled out about security? I can tell you the funds are available.
Where will you get it from?
The funds are available
from
in the
where?
state. In the state. Listen.
So we are what on what?
Hold on. You see, that's what I'm saying. There's an allocation that comes to this state. If a government is intentional that security is something that should take the pride of place, in fact, the first responsibility a government owes to the citizenry is to secure their lives and their property. That is the primary responsibility any government owes. And as such, any government that is conscious of it will leave no stone unturned to ensure that that is achieved. So I can tell you, the funds are available through the allocations, through the internally generated revenue from the state. You see, that's why I say if we get the security right, Anambra will be flooded with investments. And when Anambra is flooded with investments, every company pays their taxes. The more companies, the more big companies that come into Anambra State, the more investment that comes into the state, the more funds that the state will, the government of the day will be able to get from revenue, from personal income tax, from taxes that they need to pay to the government. All I'm saying is that these taxes must be in such a manner that it will be reflective of the concern to ensure that those investments are attracted. So the rest assured that we will implement those things I detailed that we will do about security, because we are going to take security as a primary focus in governance. Thank you.
All right, we've been very meticulous with the questions asked, and then you've taken them from time to time, but I tell you, it's not over, and then we'll have to just do a little, bit of it, but then let's see how it goes. I know there are people who are meant to ask one more or two questions, and we're looking at time as well to manage our time, and then let's allow those who would want to ask one thing or the other to ask. And then I want to ask you, on the issue of INEC, do you trust INEC to conduct credible and fair election in Anambra come November 8, 2025. And people have issues with INEC. And some will tell you that would they tell us something about glitches again? They're going to transmit these results electronically, and these are some of the issues. And then when you're mentioning about the issue of security, I didn't hear you talk about the issue of state police. Maybe you're partly pushing to ensure that there is this constitutional amendment, even the one that is going on, to ensure that the governors handle issues of security. Most times they are being blamed, even when they are not in control of any of these security agencies that are known, except the vigilante, which we know very well do not carry most of these sophisticated weapons. I would also want you to address that. I didn't hear you mention that when you were talking about the security. You only mentioned about use of technology and at the same time use of ICT to ensure things are done. Let's go back to the phone lines. Remember the lines 003-221-697 8 and then 003-827-6694. Let's quickly do that, and then we have got so many people who have been on the line for long. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you. You're welcome.
Hello, Olisa Mbeki.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
You are welcome.
Yeah, our guest. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, dear my brother.
Our honorable. Okay. My name is Sunday Aboki, reaching from Mbono.
Your name is Sunday Aboki?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I want to ask my guest, and I want to tell him, actually, the coalition as what he said there. You see, our mind, and that is our prayer to coalesce, to chase the APC away. That's our prayer, right from time. So thank you for that. But for him, our honorable governor to be, what I would tell him to, they like to talk against each other. What he's saying now is not proper. Because me as an Amberian, I'm from Mpo, I know that the security in Anambra State now is very tight. And now it's against the security. And it's against our education. Actually, he's saying or talking for his own ability sense. What I want to say is that it's good for him to step down first. Next tenor, if he not come out, we'll now vote for him. Because it's not his turn now. Because it's from our Anambra Central. Because the issue is zoning in Nigeria and in Anambra State. And we now stand for the zoning, which allowed him to be our governor, but not this tenor. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I think he will correct something immediately.
Thank you, Aboki, my brother. Since you love me, I appreciate that so much. Be rest assured, we're not campaigning against the zoning. We in the African Democratic Congress, ADC, my governorship candidate, once again, is Mr. John Chukuma Nwosu from Odeda Nnewichi, in Nnewi town of Nnewi local government in Anambra South Senatorial Zone. I am the deputy governorship candidate, and I am from Oka in Anambra Central. So we are in support of the zoning arrangement. And that is why my principal has said he will run a tenure of 4 years and sustain the zoning by handing over to someone from Anambra Central in the next 4 years. Thank you for supporting the coalition.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Hello.
Good morning, you're welcome.
Hello. Good morning.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm myself in the house. I've been listening intently. Or does this from Udala, Delta State? Voice of radio. Now, Oga, that's how we wear Oga Keshilo.
Please go on.
Oga, maka ndị ojii na-elo zọchiri nne. Onye nọ n'ọkwa kịta ya bụ nwa Mbeki abị nwa Mgbafọ Soludo ọ bụrụ na elote ka o si wee gbagbo ike n'ọkwa. Nọmba 1 mụnwa abụ onye la a na-eje m Anambra State. I won't go to part of it. Anyway, I'm sure you are aware of that. And I think we one single couple. Okay, Nandia. Party Anna or Abgabum Kani. And Nandia need to put a low gamma. Can I put on your no, they all come. I want to put on for you. On your webble, soludo. You say, I okay, I put a well. If I recall already, on your was Malami to Anikita, the coalition. Senior state of emergency in Anambra State. Ige Luta, power over. Nandini, I was the Yam. Kaido Fan and Carbon Kani, I will with Kani. Kanyama, basic. Bunoya then Apuga, with Jim, or the milk would do. Let's be thinking backwards.
All right. So let's ask you a question because of time. We don't.
You say when you have just give me a second. What do you know? Now, I will only look at party in Ghana. Two, keep hope alive. How do we go it? I'm going to see if we could have one of the parties. Is it a credit or discredit? Thank you very much. Think about it.
All right. I don't know if you got the question she asked. She was actually asking in all of these because she actually spoke Igbo, but then she was asking in all of these there is something you must hold on to that the Igbos and then the people of Southeast have held on to for a very long time as something that could also offer them that alternative in the case or in the face of the uncertainties, political uncertainties. And then if we kill Abga now, what are we going to hold on to? In as much as these political parties are national political parties, they have something they hold on to. They have something in Kakan and Kimobi. So I think that's where she is coming from.
Well, my sister, Okuge the man on the vehicle of ma even na chegwage bụ na ekwulu m n'oge mbụ na apụga nke ebidoro oge ahụ abụọzi ya ka a na-agba egwu eketa fe emegidekwu wepụkwa isi ojukwu adịghị afụzikwa isi ojukwu ma a na-ekwu okwu apụga nke kịta abụzi nkefa ọ bụrụ nke anyị nke abụọ ọzọ dị ka ibie bụ na coalition ADC anyị na-ekwu okwu ya jikọtelu ma onye iru ma onye azụ ma onye etiti ma onye Igbo ma onye Yoruba ma onye Hausa onye ọbụla dị n'ihe anọdụ n'ime ofu mkpachi anyị azọba nke bụ nke anyị zọta nke bụ nke anyị anya bụ ife na-agwa gị. Much more again Sunday Aboki, I want to tell you I'm not talking about against the security and those who have been driving the security in the states. I am saying that they are not getting it right. I'm saying that even for those who are Chamber and Udogachi, that they need to be equipped, effectively equipped. They need to have a mobility that is that can move without having challenges. They need to have what I call occupational hazard and life insurance policy. The conventional security needs to be fully equipped, and that there should be technology-driven security in Anambra State. I am saying in the 21st century, we should be doing better than what we are doing now. As to INEC, that I've been asked a question about, do I trust INEC? By their past antecedents, they are not an agency that can. But be that as it may, we will not lie back and say, we need to engage them, we need to sustain our efforts. If the electorate say the INEC is not trustworthy, they cannot be transparent, they cannot do that, then you are giving way to those who are manipulating the process. We should sustain our ability to be engaged. And how do we do that? So many people were unable to register before this time around. So many people have become 18 years and had gotten to 18 years and above since the last election that happened. I urge Anambrarians who are 18 years and above now, Anambrarians who lost their PVC cards, and Anambrans that their cards are already mutilated, as the case may be, please, there is a window from Tuesday, 8th day of July, to the 17th day of July for revision of voters register. Please avail yourself of that opportunity and get registered. When we go to vote, when we vote, we should stand and defend our vote. Again, the candidate of ADC, my principal, is an ICT expert, and we will deploy the best of ICT technology to ensure that their votes count come November 8, 2025. Be rest assured about that. On the issue of state police, first and foremost, the African Democratic Congress, as part of its manifesto, believes in true federalism. True federalism. So we subscribe to the establishment of state police as one of the avenues of ensuring the security of people within our state, because the state police that will be established will be made up of Anambrarians who know their villages, know their hamlets, and will be able to tell those who are of shady character within their communities. So we take that as for granted, because that's part of the manifesto of the ADC, that true federalism should be allowed to come to play. More again is that the ADC believes that we should be able to take care of the vulnerables, the poor, the disabled, the youths, the women. These people, they form a centerpiece of the ADC's manifesto. And I and my principal, John Nwosu, are aligned with the manifesto of the ADC and will ensure its implementation by the special grace of God. And Anambrarians voters come November 8, 2025.
All right, one more question before we sign out. The candidate of APC has said that his interest will be to connect Anambra State to the center, that Anambra State cannot afford to be continuously on opposition. And then he says, APC is the only party to the center, and we have got so much to take from the center. There are many states that are connected to the center, and we've seen the presence of federal government in most of these states that are doing well, that we cannot afford to be playing that opposition. And then he also gave instance saying that even when Ojukwu returned from Ivory Coast, when he had gone on exile, he joined the party at Center MPN. And that tells you a lot, that the need for us to be connected to the center. And then he says that his party is a party to be beat, or a party to be taken for a ride. Let me get a thought about the statement credited to the candidate, the APC candidate, Nicholas Okachukwu. And you know him very well. He has been your friend, and there was a time you also worked closely with him. But today he says he wants to take Anambra State to the center. What's your take about that?
I like my friend Nicholas Okachukwu. He is someone I like so much, and on a personal note, we relate very well.
Okay.
But I can tell you, that center he wants to take Anambra to, incidentally, is ADC, African Democratic Congress.
No, you mean the ruling party now, the APC at the center?
Can you follow me? Can you follow me?
Okay.
We are talking about election in November that will be held November 8th in Anambra. And after November 8th, the swearing in will take place in 2026
yes.
March. Is that not? And the next government that will come up in 2027 is an ADC government at the center.
At the center?
At the
How
center.
sure are you?
Very sure. Listen, unless you're telling me as a Nigerian that you are not feeling the pains of what people are feeling today. Nigerians are waiting to vote out APC. So I agree with him that we need to connect Anambra to the center. The center we are connecting Anambra to is the ADC coalition. That is the party that will take over Nigeria come 2027. And that's why we need to get ADC in power in Anambra State come November 8, 2025, so that Anambrarians will be part of the center
Okay, and then more. I think finally the governor of Anambra State, Charles Chukwuemeka Ludo, a renowned economist, has said that ABGA is a progressive party. And ADC, so much talked about, it's not progressive. They are just recycled PDP members with aggrieved APC members. You know, that ABGA goes all along ensuring progressive governance in every sense, aligning with the world practices. That ADC is just recycled PDP members and aggrieved APC. What are they going to bring? They are not progressive in any sense.
Well, we respect our governor because he's our governor. That office is an office which we are still aspiring to. So we have every reason to respect that office. Okay. That having been said, okay, I do not know how progressive his ABGA has become. There's nothing progressive about ABGA. Rather than progressivism, they are retarding. Incidentally, the progressive one he's telling us is moving us to is the same progressive one, progressive brand of APC. That's what he has told Anambrarians. He said he had told Anambrarians in 2027 there is no vacancy. That it is APC, it is Tinubu. That's why I mentioned that the ABGA you know today and the APC are two sides of the same coin. Anambrarians choose the alternative that will get Anambra people out of this dead end we have found ourselves.
All right, on that note, we have come to the end of this wonderful episode of Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM. We want to thank you so much, Dr. Jeffrey Ndubisi Nwobu, the deputy governorship candidate of African Democratic Congress, former PDP chairman of Anambra State, and also former local government Chairman Oka South precisely. Thank you so much for your time this very morning to bring you all the way from wherever you may be or you had been down to Udala. This is your first time of coming to Udala. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Udala FM. There's, even from the questions, you find out that Udala's reach is quite wide, and your social handles are so live, and in fact, Udala needs to be commended.
Thank you so much.
This station is something else.
Thank you so much.
And I wish to ask that you sustain it.
Thank you so much.
I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much. We're going to call you back again.
Thank you, Anambrarians, and thank you, Nigerians, and from all the parts of the world where you listen to. I appreciate your having listened into this conversation. And I want to assure you that if given the opportunity, through the votes of Anambrarians, come November 8th, that the African Democratic Congress, as represented by John Chumamusu and my good self, Ndubisi Nwobu, that we will be able to deliver on the dividends of democracy in a manner that Anambrarians will applaud. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, our listeners, wherever you listen to us from. We appreciate those who called us and those who tried to call in, but they could not come in, and those who followed us on social media handles. I think I have been reminded that I have to appreciate some of you on social media handle. I think many of you rendered comments there, and those comments, a quick one. I don't know how many I'm going to take. You have Chief Cyprian watching you from Federal College of Education in Sube. Good morning. And then also we appreciate you, Tino Obieze, for watching from Electrical Market Bosi, and also Chinanumba Emmanuel Ichiena Yalugo Abagana watching from Jiaru Asaba. My greetings to my former boss, Chief Dr. Buka Oka. Okay, we also have so many messages we may not be able to take. There's so many of them on social media. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki. Thank you so much. We see you next week, but remember, you have to have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.